on to the broadcast. Gentlemen, welcome. Hey. Change, Meadowhawk.
That is not change. That's aggressor.
That's not. Oh, wow. They put your name
Why
up there.
Why do you do this to me, man?
Well, first you mix up change and chase.
Okay.
Now you mix up with aggressor.
I start by reading the names, then I look at the pictures. This is a mistake. We'll revise it for later. Lessons learned. We'll start with you, aggressor. Rockstar has been going on and on about you. First thing, proudest moment in World of Tanks.
Probably, what is it, a year ago, finals, when we were versing Simp, and I was on I Love Lamp, and we won the match when the timer went out, and we reset the cap. Do you remember that, Ruko?
Oh, dude, I remember that. I was freaking out that day. That was amazing.
That was when I was still a fan, sitting at home watching that, and I went crazy because you guys decided to cut off the stream, so they thought the match was over, and I'm sitting there like, wait, what's going on? Why is Randall yelling? Why?
Because I'm freaking out because these guys just pulled off one of the craziest plays in World of Tanks history. There aren't many things that top that. So, Best choice right there. Meadowhawk, can you measure up?
Well, anyone who watches the stream knows my 3v1 versus Simp.
Ooh.
Yep.
Definitely one of my good moments. I mean, as a team, obviously going, qualifying to the finals, like we've been around so long, but we've never actually met. So meeting as a team, that was pretty touching too, I think.
Dude, that is seriously one of the biggest deals. Whenever you finally get to meet your teammates after playing for months and months, some people years here.
Yep.
Yeah, those are two really good choices. Thanks, guys. Now, let's get into Dare first. Dare, we've been ragging on you guys or saying that you are the greatest thing ever, right? You get hot and cold. After these last two matches, they've been rough. Apex and AM60s. And your last time that you played against 07 didn't go your way. What have you done to turn that around and prep for your 07 match here today?
Practice.
That's it?
Practice makes perfect.
Oh, come on.
I mean, we sit there every day, and I mean, Putin works really hard to make strats, and we put the effort in, and hopefully it comes out.
It's all about the practice. Just grind it out. Run strat after strat after strat. Study your opponents. What is it? What does it come down to for you? What preps you for a match?
Mainly, for me, it comes to just grinding it out and figuring out what I need to do in the strat. But for like our team, I think it's more of how we make the strat that kind of sells it.
Okay, so the process of coming to the decision of what strategies, how you're going to go about attacking mines or whatever it is, the process is what really makes it happen for you. So you feel like if you guys have a bad time figuring out a strat, you know it's not going to pan out later on. Is that
you don't use it.
Okay.
All right, Meadowhawk. So you guys have been playing very well this season. You have some of the best players in the fantasy league right now. And then you guys went up versus Eclipse, and everyone, thought that'd be a fairly close match. And just like the Apex Dare match, it didn't go that well for you guys. What kind of went on? Was there anything that you guys learned from that match that you were able to take away from it?
I actually wasn't around for that match. I was at a hockey game, so I don't know what happened. From what I understand, everyone just came out flat, and we had a lot of apparently delays in calling, like basically rotates and stuff not happening, like just indecision, which basically will kill any team. When you're playing a good team like Eclipse that moves around the map lots, if you don't make your rotates properly or your moves or take different positions, you're just going to get picked apart. And I think that's, what happened. And it was a big match. I mean, we've had a good round robin so far. I mean, probably one of the best starts we've had in our, all of 07's history. And so we're looking to keep it up. And tonight's a big match, too, because we can't give up another 3 points to Dare.
Definitely.
All right. And then follow-up question there, Meadowhawk. What hockey game?
I watched the Oilers get obliterated by the Minnesota Wild. It was actually not that great of a game.
Are you an Oilers fan?
No, I'm a Calgary Flames fan.
Okay, you're forgiven.
And the Flames actually just beat Minnesota yesterday, so I'm okay with that.
Okay, so now we've gotten Meadowhawk into a great space. Thanks, Rockstar.
Yep.
He's all happy talking about his team over there, all of them.
Canadians.
Great.
Canadians, eh?
All right, guys. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. That was very insightful. We will see you on the battlefield.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck. Oh, man. I like that. That was fun. Sometimes you get off, not going to be able to just be there for the match. Meadowhawk might be the cheerleader for his team because he sits on the bench sometimes a little bit more than everyone else. So maybe when he's not around for 07, everyone's a little bit off, I'm just joking.
So if Meadowhawk is cheerleader for 07, what does that make Comps? Because he is literally the most unexcited person that I know.
Commissar.
Commissar?
Okay. Commissar Gumps.
Okay, I can live with that.
Yeah. He seems like the kind of guy who's like, no, we're doing this. This is the strat. Get in line. Very disciplined. I like it.
Okay.
I like a person who leads a team that way. It's very nice to see. So, let's reset for a sec. We've got Steps, Proc, Mines, Murrow as the maps going into this. Both teams seem like they're in a good place. I liked what I heard from Aggressor. Excuse me again for getting the name right. It's so embarrassing. But what he was talking about with this team is I heard from a little birdie that My Little Putin is a very much more big picture caller. He doesn't micro his own players. And so when they talked about the way that they come into figuring out a strategy, that started to make a connection for me because because when you hear about a battle caller who's a very big picture caller, he's not going to tell people specifically what he needs them to do. He doesn't need you to drive left, right. He needs you to get here or there. But when it comes down to the strategy playing a huge role and the process of coming to deciding on what strategy you're going to play, playing a huge role in the way you perform on a battlefield, like with what Aggressor just talked about with Dare, I think that makes a lot of sense as far as looking at their strategies and the way some of them have worked and some of them haven't. You know, you might just be seeing, hey, we don't really like how we arrived at this. My Little Putin shows up with a strategy. No one's really too hot on it. And, well, if that works out, then awesome. But if everybody's not on board for it, now I can understand where off-the-wall strats or improvising might be a little bit rough right now for Dare. That's not a bad thing. You shouldn't depend on improvising.
Yep.
But sometimes you can see how the team might rely on My Little Putin. My Little Putin might rely on the team, and there's that symbiotic.
Well, 07 are also kind of similar, though, because their biggest problem, at least as Meadowhawk was saying, was their rotations. So that comes down, once again, to a caller issue. And I was actually talking to Ute, of all people, who a lot of you guys know, the league commissioner, and one thing he said is what makes or break a Silver League team from a solid Gold League team is having a solid caller in that mix. Now, all these teams have that solid caller because they're obviously playing at this level.
Yeah.
But then it's that final step from going from being a mid-league Silver League or mid-Gold League team, like these teams basically are right now. They're sitting below Apex and Eclipse to get them to that next level. What do they need to do to kind of get themselves moving up to that next level? Because they have the caller, they have the talent. What separates them right now from being that number one team?
That is a really good point right now because Dare and 07, like you're saying, they're just below Apex Eclipse as far as expectations. Now, standings-wise, a good point to make is Dare is above Eclipse in some ways. And so thinking about that...
But you could also argue that's because of Eclipse's poor form early on, dropping some points they shouldn't have, and they're coming back for that slot. And
but we're also holding a lot of those same, like those equivalent scenarios against Dare and against 07. What we have going for Eclipse is that, yes, last season, you're right. They got second place. They were excellent. This season, they've turned things around, and now they look much like a better version of what they were, or at least they're getting on the way to. It's hard to read that.
Well, if you go by recent form,
yeah,
Eclipse are clearly in the much better recent form right now, which you have to say is going to be Eclipse passing Dare in the standings right now.
Possibly. But to get back to your point about how these teams get themselves to the next level, I think looping back what Aggressor said about the way that they prepare strategies, and then looking at what Meadowhawk was saying about 07 in their match that was against, that was the Eclipse one. So in the Eclipse match for 07, which was a 5-0, 07 got obliterated. And Meadow was saying they weren't really there. They weren't really there as the team that 07 is when they win. They weren't on point. The calls were a little late. The mood wasn't there. It's kind of what I was picking up on. And so you have to get that under control. Apex has that under control. They show up every day. Everyone is on point. They know what they're doing, and they're focused. Eclipse, I'd assume about the same right now. And so getting to that next level is making it so you don't have hot days and cold days, right, Rox? When you show up and you're a top-tier team, some first, second place, one of the better teams in the league, when you're one of those teams, it's showing up every day, and it's not whether you're hot or cold. It's just you are.
Yep, and that's
team.
something we see with
you are Apex,
and we see that with some of these teams,
yeah.
Where especially it comes to mind the M60s. you look at them. They're a team where some days they show up and they look unstoppable, like they're giant killers, like they're ready to just take on Apex. And then the next day they're losing to one of the bottom teams in the league.
Exactly. You can't be hot and cold and be a top team in the league. You need to be much more consistent. And getting to that consistency is about having a much more long-term roster, getting players that are going to stick around. Dare is a little bit newer in that sense. 07's been around a little while. But,
this is their 4th season in the Gold League, I believe.
But haven't they changed up their rosters a little bit here?
Quite a bit. And that's something we've talked about with Meadowhawk is every season they've had to make roster changes. They had EXO last season jump out along with Static and Zone Delta, all go to their respective teams. Before that, they had Vetro leave. He went over to join Eclipse right before the Global Grand Finals. And before that, they had some players like Synergy 3K, who's no longer in the league, and a few others, the players that really became keys into 07, and then they lost them. And now all of a sudden they've had to rebuild, and they keep having to reset every season because they can't hold on to those players.
Exactly, and that disruption makes it so you can't keep your upward momentum. You stall out a little bit. You have to reset, and that can be even harder than keeping an upward momentum and keeping improving or even staying as good as you are. It's just when that happens, you have to be able to get yourself back into gear. Because very easily, we've seen this before, a team changes a roster, they bring in some player that's expected to turn things around. Maybe for one reason or another, it doesn't work out, and the team very quickly turns into something that is improving, into something that stagnates. And if you stagnate, it's only a matter of time before your team is just going to disappear.
Yep. Well, that's enough of me and Randall talking, guys. We're actually ready for our first map of the evening, so let's take a look.
Steps, the most open map in the league. The attacking team appears near the rocks at the bottom of the map, and the defending team starts at the top. Bases are located near the railway and on the green. The best way to control them is to use the lowland near the second base. The attacking team usually begins the attack from the rocks and the railway, but sometimes they can attack through the green. Teams often drag vehicles from flank to flank, so both teams usually pick light vehicles with a good camouflage rating, but sometimes use tanks with a strong turret and even SPGs.
All right, Brox. Look at these lineups. What do you think?
And 6 Batjets and a CDC for Dare. That's easy.
Hey.
07, 2 Kronwagens, 4 Batjets, and a UDIS.
Okay, so lots of auto loaders. That's okay. And the Kronwagens make perfect sense. It's a defense, right? You're the defenders. You're just going to sit hull down, maybe defend a little bit, flex around into those 4 Batjets, and try not to get caught out. UDES probably is going to go for a boost.
I would agree. Put him up on the boost. The UDES is a tank pick I'd expect to see on offense. They've really been favoring using the STRV as a cap pressure in the north, 07 that is. So I think bringing the UDES is actually a viable option to replace him if you're just going to use his cap pressure. It has better camo than the S-Tank, actually. You can go into siege mode. It's a very small target to hit. And I think it could be viable in that sense.
Very much so. We'll have to see how it goes as My Little Putin leads the charge towards Ledif. Ledif's about to get some spotting, I think.
It's about to spot the whole team is what's going to happen. And I don't know that he can get out of here because Dare are not stopping. They are driving straight forward, and they see Ledif. They are dropping into the low ground, and this could go very poorly for 07 if they're not careful.
Oh, but they are. Ledif pulls back. Major issues with him. Newt, My Little Putin moving around on the low ground. They're going to decide to begin some kind. No, they're going to hold back on the engagement. Good call right there because Makos moves in. And Chase
is going to go forward. He's going to eat the shells.
Yes, good play right there. They just need to get him to eat a few more shells, play the cover game. Master Putin moves in, and that's what we need to see. 07 is in the engagement. Dare as well. Hit points going down on both sides. And look at it, already down below 4K on 07 side. Dare is just above 5K.
Warbander goes down to My Little Putin.
And 3 tanks alive for 07 against 5 from Dare. So the opening engagement right there is just clean. You just engage, catch a few tanks, obliterate them, and reset. That's what Dare needs to go for.
What I really like here out of Dare Rising is intelligent play based upon the lineups. They saw the 2 Kronwagens, they saw the isolations, they knew that teams like to send tanks up to the boost, and they said, look, we can create an isolation here. They got the tanks down into the low ground, they forced that brawl, and they also dumped into the Kronwagens on the high ground at the same time. And so they abused the terrible DPM that those Kronwagens have. Their burst isn't that great. It's only 1600, so the same as 50V or T57.
And the armor's not really there, too.
If it's not hold down.
Yeah,
if it's not hold down.
But what I'm talking about is a brawl, of course.
Yeah.
You get face-to-face with the Kronwagen, and it doesn't have tracks like an E100 where it will eat 1 or 2 shells, right? You're going to deal your damage.
No matter what format you're playing against the Kronwagen in this game, whether it's pub match, strongholds, anything, The best thing you can do to make a Kronwagen is uncomfortable is pressure. Pressure. They are tanks that excel in long, slow play. Games where they can hold down, where they can have time to get their reloads. If you can force pushes on them, get brawls going quickly, that's where you can win those fights.
Yeah, because what you want to do is just short engage, short engagement, reset each time, deal damage when you can, use the autoloader really to just get a follow-up or a third shot if you're lucky, right? In a Kronwagen, you're not expecting to ever peek up, fire all 4 shells and back down. It's going to be fire 1, 2, maybe 3, and then probably back off and reload. You might even just fire once in a Kronwagen and reload.
Depends on if their team has arty is the other thing.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, but I've seen that time and time again where a Kronwagen will really just poke once.
What I really don't like about this is Andy Pans. The only full health bat chat that 07 have alive is all the way down on the south, and he may take a one-on-one with Durgel here, who's also the full HP bat chat from Dare.
And I really like what I'm seeing out of Fosta. Look at him in the UDES. He's just spotted Chase Potato, and his position is just passive. And he understands his role, as Fosta is, by the way, one of just the scout for his team. So when you see someone who's going to have the discipline of knowing when to fire, when not to fire, he's making the right call. He understands there's a huge disadvantage for 07. But there we go. Newt takes a hit. One more should take him down. Looks like Fosta's even getting ready to deal that damage if he needs to.
And speaking of Fosta spotting, here's a little fun fact for you. He's actually spotted 102 tanks in their 7 matches so far.
Wow.
So he is number 1 in tank spotted this season. Both.
Fosta's going to go for it, I think. Maybe. Zeroes in. Fires.
Kill.
Yeah, that's good.
He's spotted, though.
That's
now
fine,
he's
right?
very vulnerable.
Yes. But looks like he might be able to get a shot into Master Putin. Or just about. He's going to keep his head down. So if he can do that, the rest of the team elsewhere is going to be doing work.
Andy Pans does pick up the one-on-one versus Durgel with almost all of his HP. So a great job there by Andy Pans. Definitely risky being off 1v1. Not something you want to do when you have fewer tanks than your opponent, but it's also what you need to do to get back into the fight.
Yeah. Chase Potato is going to start taking on Fosta in the UDES. I don't think this one's going to last too much longer. Dare should be able to clean this up.
They're going to take Fosta down, and then they're going to put tanks on cap. And look at this. Chase Potato, the CDC, he wasn't intended to live. He was intended to be some sort of bunker
He's
or
supposed to be dead by now.
He's going to go up and over. Is he going to go for the ram on Fosta? No, he's just going to drive around, get in behind, abuse the fact that UDES does not have a turret. Take him down. One more shot. There it goes.
Now Andy Pans, last one alive, all alone. 2,414 hit points to deal. He's going to have to reload at least once, I believe, if he wishes to kill everyone. It's possible, I guess, but should be just a moment for Dare to clean it up.
They're going to put 3 on cap, force him to come back, and then once he's back into a position where he can get a reset, then they'll push out, go get the kill, and end it that way.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I always hold on because it's a bat chat, you know?
Yeah, I do like the play here from Dare. You could tell that they didn't hesitate. They were going for that brawl. They got into the low ground. They found positions that they liked. They took a second, stopped, made sure that condition that they were in, those sort of overmatches were the ones they wanted, and then they went for it. There was a very little hesitation. Here comes Andy Pans coming around the corner. He should be able to find Chase Potato, take him down. He knows that Malaputin has the cap points. He's taking a lot of damage. And down he goes.
That's it.
And that's going to be a 1-0 win in favor of Dare Rising.
And nicely done on attack, by the way. So, attack win to start this one off by Dare. 07. Actually, I want to step back for a sec. There's something we really didn't establish early on, which I kind of wonder about. Do you think Dare is more afraid of 07, or 07 is more afraid of Dare?
That is a tough one. If you have to remember, this is basically a best-of-3 series, if you want to look at it this way. The grand final, or the North American finals a few months ago, It was Dare that beat 07. Then, first round robin, it was 07 that beat Dare in overtime. Then Deja Vu. Now, this is a rematch, and this is a chance for Dare to retake first place, essentially over 07, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, to kind of jump back
to win this
time.
series.
Exactly. But 07 right now is the one that had the better standing coming into this as far as their last record, right? So 07 is coming in. They look a little better.
They're both coming off of 05 losses, essentially, so I don't know how much momentum is really going to play into this.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been trying to think about is, like, where are these teams going to be? Because usually you'd expect one team's coming off a win or something, and then maybe there's a little more to it. But this is going to be a hard match to read. It's going to come down to what we can see out of these teams early on, because I don't think either team played all that poorly at all in this battle. 07, yes, they just got beat up a little bit in the opening push, but I have to give it more to Dare on that one. That was aggressive. It did not stop. There was no room for 07 to really react. They weren't given time. Things were spotted, and the engagement began.
Well, and that's what I was talking about, especially with the Kronwagens, is they set up on the low ground. They had 3 tanks on the low ground, CDC, and 2 Batchats.
Yeah.
And then they also had 2 separate Batchats up on the high ground, Aggressor and Maktat Putin.
Yeah.
Both went in and on those Kronwagens, and they took the 1v1s and basically killed them themselves. So they started a 2v2 elsewhere that they won.
Yeah.
On the lower ground, they started a 3v2 that they won. They took a little bit of damage.
Almost 4. Actually.
Yeah, almost 4.
Almost
and it was
4.
the 2 tanks sitting in the backfield. The biggest problem is, while they were getting off damage and they into that fight, they were so far back, they weren't contributing HP, they weren't keeping other guns on their team alive, and that's what ultimately ended up losing this game, because when that whole brawl was over, instead of being able to rotate HP and keep guns alive, it was a 5v3 from that point on, and then that was 2 tanks in favor of Dare Rising they had. They were able to keep the momentum, get the kills, and just carry it off from there.
Absolutely. Just now getting into this one, we're going to switch sides, all right? 07's now going to be on attack. I like their attacks. Foster probably bring in RU-251 active scouting, or maybe a little bit of that TD play. He brings a UDES again, maybe an S-tank, something out of that. I think the opening lineup, and tell me if you agree, opening lineup for 07 is going to tell a lot about how this one goes down, because I think Dare should, after coming off a win to start it, is looking to be in a slightly more comfortable position, or at least they're going to be a little bit more warmed up.
Yeah. Now, what I hesitate to see out of 07 here is they've run the same strat essentially twice now with the 1-cap play using the S-tank on cap.
Yes.
And if Dare have done their homework and 07 tried to do the same thing, this could very quickly be a 2-0 lead in favor of Dare Rising.
Well, I know 07 does their homework. They definitely study their opponents, so they're going to be ready for what Dare brings, or at least they should know the strategies that Dare has brought before on steps.
Well, going over the lineups here, an IS-7, 3 Batchats, a 140, an STRV, 103B, and a UDES. 07, a Kronwagen, 3 Batchats, an Object 430, an STRV 103B of their own, and then Fosta in the RU-251. Once again, Fosta, one of the best scout players in the league right now.
Yeah, and Dare has never lost has not lost a map this season on steps. Defense. They haven't lost one. Their attacks have suffered. But Dare is looking to be in a good place against 07. 07, by the way, on steps, has 6 battles played. Their attacks, they have actually won all of their attacks on steps. So we're about to see a 100% little statistic broken. Of course, it's only 3 times each, by the way. Both teams have only played this map 3 times on either side. So we'll see who's going to finally lose their first
Look at
attack
this
and defense.
run from Fosta.
That's aggressive.
This is aggressive? That's suicidal.
Just about. If you can guess your opponent... okay, yes. Pretty much suicidal for the most part, especially if it were a pub, right? So when you know your opponent's going to do an east-west, where they'll probably go to one side or the other of the hill, this is still pretty dangerous, because usually you would expect something to be playing a hull-down game and probably be waiting for you. Usually you would have expected Foster to move forward and go passive in a bush. And yes, he could have gone too far, but he also was playing the risk-reward, and he might have gotten some spotting that gave his team the intel that they could take advantage of.
And 07 are actually going for a push of their own right now. They're just coming up and over the Kronwagens, the 430, all getting in here. 430 picking a bush, use the camo value. He is spotted, though. And they're just going to push over. They see Durgil alone. They're going to try to focus him out. But a lot of fire going into Andy Pants. 1,500, one more shot, and he's going to go down. He tries to get out of there, ends up going down anyways. Warbander being focused out now. 1647, 1,800, and he goes down. And that is not a successful push for 07.
No, not so much. Although damage being dealt from the 430, Mako's in the backfield. I've been watching him this entire battle, just damage, shot after shot after shot out, and not taking a lot of damage in return. He's going to be able to actually maybe claw this one back for his team if he's given the opportunity. And
But look at this Newt in the S-tank sitting up there in the boost, just able to pick tanks off this cap and shut it down. 07 or 4,000 HP down at this point. This is once again a 6v3, very similar to what happened last game, just roles reversed. But 07 still coming out the worst of the two.
Absolutely. Now it's falling apart for him, as everything just not really working out. Makos can try and deal all the damage he can. Kamador just a little too far back to be able to get some support. Dare's playing a solid defense. I guess, well, that proves it for now. That's going to be the first loss on attack for 07 on steps for this season.
But next map is going to be Mines, which is actually a map that doesn't really favor Dare Rising. That's actually one of the maps that 07 is actually really strong on.
So we're going to start with, it's looking like Dare's going to be defending. How's that stack up?
Dare's defense rate on Mines right now is 70%, so 1 loss out of 4. But the overall win rates right now for Mines, it's 60% for Dare Rising, where it's 70% for 07 out of 8 games.
So the edge is right there.
Yep.
Just a little bit, though.
So, we saw on the EU stream, we watched Kaznakaru get run over in the first 2 maps, including Mines, and they went down 4-0 to come back to win at 5-4.
So you're saying hold on for that?
I'm not saying hold on for that, but I think a 2-0 lead is nothing that cannot be overcome.
It's certainly true. But it does make things that much harder for 07, that much easier for Dare. So Dare starts this one up a little bit up. You did mention Mine should be a little harder for Dare, so this might just balance right back out in the next map. But look at the post-game stats. My Little Putin, Newton, and Bird. All 3 players who've just been putting up solid numbers all season. Right below him, Makos, Putin, Commodore, Aggressor, Warbander. These, and actually this is weird, Ledif, all the way to the bottom in his S-Tank, he didn't get to deal a single bit of damage. Neither did Fosta, neither did...
And actually, a correction there. The next map actually isn't Mines. We're going to Prok first, then Mines.
Yes.
And Prok is actually a map that still actually... Well, even more proves my point. That's a map where Dare don't even have a positive record on it. They're sub 50%, where 07 are pretty solid on Prok.
Okay, so this...
And they've played it a lot.
This one should go back to 07 a little bit, so it should even up to a 2-2 if our predictions are true. And if 07's playing up to the level that they're expected to be. On top of that, they've been studying their opponent. But there is a point, and that is Dare's not been successful on this map. And so when you're not successful, you change your strats. Maybe Dare has done a little homework. They might have something of a surprise for 07.
Well, we'll have to see if Dare went to school and did their homework in our next map.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the centre, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the centre. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
Lineups coming in here: Dare, an IS-7, a Kronwagen, 4 Batchets, and a Lorraine 155. 07, an IS-7, Kronwagen, 3 Batchets, a Grill 15, and Fosta and the AMX 1390, switching it up from the RU.
Okay.
1390. You're a scout player.
1390 all the way.
Give me some insight. Why 1390 over an RU right now?
If you find something out alone, you can take it down a lot easier and deal some damage with a 1390. And you'll go down just like any other light scout, but you'll deal more damage. Also, I like the turret movement a little bit more.
Okay.
I like the rear-mounted turret because sometimes it's a little easier to kind of just run into a rock and get some spotting. So if you were to just nose right into a rock in the middle of the map, it's easier to get that turret out for a short spot instead of trying to do that with front-mounted turret. At least it's like it's not whether or not it's better. It's just like
personal preference.
It's personal preference and play style. I tend to prefer French tanks as far as scouting goes because I like the combination of
speed and burst and visibility.
Yeah,
or vision, anyways.
Exactly, and not so much maneuverability that I really don't care that French tanks don't turn super well. You know, they're fine. They're mobile enough. 1390 is pretty nimble altogether, and it's just a solid little tank to use. Penetration's just good enough that that a good player is able to pen every single tank in the game.
And that really doesn't even play that big a factor on this map, just because look at the lineups that Dare are bringing. They're bringing nothing but Batchets. You can pen that with the AP shells out of a 1390 if you had to.
Yeah, if you were getting really cheeky, even bring some HE.
Yeah, well, but then you could say bring the RU for the HE, or even a T-49 with the small gun for the HE shells.
Actually, there have been times when I've brought HE in a scout tank just to destroy buildings and destructible cover. Because HE, if you fire at the correct part of a building, you can actually splash and destroy twice as much building.
Pieces, take less shots, get it done quicker.
Exactly, and it does matter if the strat counts for it, right? But in this case, mostly you'd end up shooting train cars, and that's not going to be as effective for you. You don't really need to shoot the train cars. That doesn't do much for you. You're really just going to fire under train cars, if ever anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially these train cars mounted up as high as they are on that berm. It's really hard to try to get any sort of shots over them.
But there used to be times when destroying the train cars was that important, because there were angles where you would need to fire from high ground across the tracks through a train car into something else.
Right.
And so there have been strategies that have involved destroying these train cars before, but no one really plays the map quite that way. It would be fun to see, though.
Well, and then when you have tanks like this Kronwagen right here, you have to remember 12 degrees of gun depression and great turret armor. It can work that ridge line and actually shoot underneath the train cars, something that very few tanks in this game can actually do and do it easily.
Yeah.
STB, Centurion Action X, and then a Kronwagen. Other than that, there are very few tanks that can actually work that angle successfully, consistently anyways.
Well, both teams now just trying to figure things out, feeling each other out. Foss is taking a much more leisurely
Well, he was sitting
approach.
passive for a while over towards the hill, maybe waiting for a rotate out of Dare.
Yeah, we actually might want to do a little listen-in with 07 in a minute, see if we can get their insight on attack, and see what Foss is going for, because the cap pressure started, but there's not really, look at the positioning right now out of 07. We see Mako's major issue sitting south, so this looks like a trap to me. They're going to hope Durgel, perfect example. Thank you for being there, Durgel. Durgel is going to be up in the mid trying to pause the cap. Now, what's going to happen is a bunch of tanks are going to be looking to push over and across.
They're going to dump into this Kronwagen right now. Look at this hit squad.
Yep,
Batjat's coming straight up the middle. They're baiting the shots from this Kronwagen, and this is about to be one dead Kronwagen in a second.
Oh, very much so. But look at the positions from Dare. We have tanks hanging back. They expected a push like this. And because of that, Andy Pants is
getting wrecked down to one shot. He's going to get picked off here in a second, but not before they take down Durgel and the Kronwagen.
Yes, now Major Issue is going to be able to keep moving forward. Damage, though, going quickly in the favor of Dare. 07 has walked into a crossfire. Yes, they tried to go for a trap, but it did not work quite as they expected, because
they will take down My Little Putin here in a second, but Major Issues is a one-shot. We'll see if he can get off any more damage. MacTap is actually reloading. Burden Fungus is on a reload as well. Foss is getting in behind Burden. Fossa might just go up and over, try to get some shots off, but this is not looking good for 07 for the third round in a row.
Yeah. Really risky move, but that's...
MacTap's getting lit up. 1,000 damage onto him.
Ow, okay, that'll turn things around a little bit. Now we're 4-4 again. Lidov, though, taking a lot of damage in the grill. Has to back off, takes 835, half of his hit points. And
look at the module damage onto 07, though. You have a dead driver on Commodore. You had an ammo rack on Lettuce, or a dead gun anyways, damaged gun.
I don't know if you're going to have a Commodore in just a minute. Because he's sitting at 455 right now. 2 more shells should take him down. And that should go to Dare. Because this is 07 on attack. They just went for an incredibly risky move. It certainly killed a bunch of tanks. It left 07, though, at a huge disadvantage for hit points. They can't really push out with Commodore. Warbander can't do much either. Ledif can afford to take a tiny amount, but really...
Well, look at this. 07 are trying to swap tanks here. They're going to let the Kronwagen come get up against this I-7, and they're trying to get Fosta away to go be cap pressure, but he's constantly getting spotted, so he doesn't want to move away yet.
Yeah, and then Artie is still in this battle, too. So what you're looking at is now Artie's looking towards Fossa. He's going to
he knows that he's the cap pressure, so he's trying to stop them from getting in position to get the cap. He's going to go for the snap.
Yep.
He fires it. Misses. Just wide.
Fosta turns, getting out of the low ground, and that'll keep him safe.
And actually, in a gun depression fight, the IS-7 getting the first shot into Warbander.
Warbander played that risky. He did not take. He didn't take a lot of time to try and avoid those track shots or the side shots, and because of that, Bird was able to get a shell and in a place that wasn't the front of his turret.
Despite being a 4v4 at this point, 07 are just bleeding too much HP to hold on to this cap. And as I say that, they're about to bleed more because Chase Potato's looking for a shot. He fires. Doesn't get it. Chase going for his normal full reticle snapshots, not waiting to aim in.
He
works out every now and then.
He just throws him out there.
Accuracy by volume. Instead of taking an extra 10 seconds to aim the shot, let's just fire it off, see if it hits, and reload 10 seconds sooner.
What he was probably going for more so, because now I think he's looking towards the cap, is he was focusing a little bit more on, okay, I need to stop focusing on the Kronwagen, let's just throw the shell out here. By the time I get focused on cap again, I'm going to have a reload. And we're going to move in our bat chat. Looks like Newt from Dare is going to be moving on in. And he'll go for spotting on the cap. Hardy should be able to follow up momentarily, and Foster should be reset.
Newt's moving in. He's going to go for the spot on the cap. He's going to poke up and over here. He gets spotted. There he goes. Finally catches Fosta. And now Chase Potatoes should be able to get a shot in there with the artillery. And just like that, Burton actually pokes up unopposed from Warbandit. Takes one shot, but Burton takes down Fosta. And now I don't see any good answers for 07. They no longer have any cap pressure.
They don't have really momentum here. They don't have a staying presence. They don't have anything to push the objective against their opponent. Because what you're doing is you're going for kills or you're going for cap. How does 07 win by killing all the enemy tanks at this point?
They don't, because there's 3 Batchets, well, 2 Batchets and an Artie staring at Burton Fungus. Fungus is the only tank they can easily get an engagement on. And as I say that, Chase actually puts a shot for 42 into Warbandit.
Exactly. So let's say you're forced to attack, right? 07, you can't really win that. That's
with 2.5 minutes left. The only tank that you have any speed on is Ledif. So you could maybe get him out wide, try to do something, but he's going to lose a 1v1 versus the Batchet.
He has to get free damage out there, exactly. So
you try to dump up and over into Burton, but the Batchets are in position as well as the artillery.
Yep.
Try to swing around. You're going to be red. The Batchets are going to get out in front of you before you're even there, and they're just going to have the better angles on you.
Exactly. Not a lot to do. So Dare's just going to sit back, wait, get comfy. They understand that if they push forward into their opponent, that is the only scenario that 07 is able to walk away with any form of a win by giving free damage to 07. And that's by pushing forward into Ledif, who's able to deal enough damage combined with Warbandit, combined with Commodore, that they could delete a tank off the battlefield. But they're not going to give them that opportunity. Dare's going to play it smart. They're going to play it safe.
They're defending. They don't need to make
safe
any
is
play
not the
right
word I want to use immediately after seeing an Artie shell fire over Burton Fungus and land closer to him than Warbandit.
It
feels like that's like a deliberate contradiction.
Guess you could say that Chase fired that shot. Danger close.
Oh.
There you go.
That's horrible.
You can drop one of those every now and then if Ninja Gumby can do it.
Yeah, but we have to... Not everyone knows what that is. You used to be on
Well,
the team.
danger close. Well, but it's also the term for firing close to an ally.
Yes, danger close, yes, exactly.
And that's just what happened.
That works.
So it's a double pun.
Well, that's not a pun in that case.
Well, okay. It's a pun.
That's just literally the truth.
It's the truth, but also a pun.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, I think we can agree on that one.
And Burton Fungus snaps the shot off at Commodore. 400 meters, gets the kill. And just like that, Batchet ready to kill Warbandit. Ledif in the middle, like I said, maybe trying to open it up, but he's going to lose a 1v1. Aggressor has 1 shot left, which is more than enough to kill Ledif on 157 as long as he doesn't miss.
Oh, and Aggressor even decides to rub it in a little bit. Gets the final kill. That's 3 for Dare.
Great stuff out of Dare. They were set up ahead of time. Ledif trying to, or not Ledif, but 07 just trying to go for an aggressive play. It was more a timing strat is what I feel. They were hoping to catch tanks out on the 1 line, not in position to cover the Kronwagen and the I-7. They dumped up and over with those 3 bats, and poor Andy Pans, first one to get spotted over that ridge.
Yeah.
He barely got to fire a shot.
Yeah, because when you go for east side pressure, you're putting cap pressure on the east side. You're forcing your opponent to move from the west side, where they are set up as Dare is, close to the tracks. Usually teams will compress themselves up against the tracks so that they can get ready to just go up and over. Dare makes a smart call, says, that yes, they're putting pressure on cap. We have artillery. We can just spot the cap. We can destroy anything that decides to pressure against us. And then, when 07, assuming that Dare, or taking the risk that Dare has decided to move their tanks closer to the train tracks, moves their Batchets up in a little sneak attack, it doesn't work out. Dare's got guns on those targets. They're walking into the most ideal crossfire. Like,
that's what that crossfire is set up for.
Yeah, it's set up to deal with exactly that push. So it's 07 tries as much as they can. They did relatively well for having run into a one-sided
and
scenario.
while we were sitting there talking about it, one thing I want to point out is Aggressor, who I've mentioned earlier as being one of the top damage dealers in the league. 4,000 damage, and I believe it was 4 kills at the end there. Let me check. It was 1 kill, and then Burton Fungus did 2,800 damage with 4 kills of his own there. But Aggressor, 4,000 damage in a Batchet, not bad at all.
Not bad at all. So he's been one of the players that we expect to perform. You were talking about him earlier. He's one of the people that's putting top numbers up there.
He's one of those people that's just doing his job quietly this season. So often you get some players like Melo Putin, gets really spotlighted a lot, and he's constantly, getting a lot of kills, making some very aggressive plays. Aggressor's just been kind of quiet this season in terms of, nothing that's really been catching our eye, not really that noticeable, but he's putting out a lot of damage.
I think I shall follow him next battle then. Pay a little close attention to Aggressor and the way he's going to play, And we'll have to see as we're just about to get started from that battle. So
07 have to get something going here. Remember, the last time this matchup happened, it was a 5-4 victory in favor of 07. And right now, Dare Rising, they're not having any of it.
Yeah. Well, let's get ready to go into battle number 4. We'll see where these guys are going as the lineups we'll see in just a moment are IS-7, some 430s again. 07 going for 430s. Rockstar, talk to me about the Object 430. It's not a tank we see as popular in the league as other Russian medium tanks.
It has the highest DPM of any of the Russian mediums, but the problem is its gun handling is bad. It does have good camo, has weaker turret armor, and its mobility is the same as a Object T-62A, so not a common pick.
Yeah,
now, something I do want to point out. Something to point out here real quick is if you look at Dare's lineup,
No.
They brought the T-49 with the small gun. Now, here's the thing about that. If you look at it on paper, it has 4,000 DPM. That's 4K DPM in a tier 8 light, and a lot of people go, wow, why don't teams bring that all the time? The thing you overlook is the shell type. It only fires HE shells that are extremely low pen. That can work out if you're firing against bat chats. But the problem is even bat chats are iffy pens if you have the wrong angles. You know how bat chats, they're basically made to bounce shells because of how their armor is sloped.
It's the only way they bounce shells is by hitting the perfect angle.
Yeah. And so the T-49's small gun, its effective DPM is much lower, less than 2,000, and that's why we often see tanks like the RU-251 and the 13-9 used instead.
Makos is spotted moving up to the northeast. He's going to be pinned alone in his position, and he is hull down for now. We're watching Aggressor's POV currently as he's going to try and fire on that position.
And they know Makos is up there.
Oh, they know. He's going to be taken care of momentarily. You just got to give him a second, and it will happen. But that 430, if that 430 isn't dealt with, I'm expecting to see a counter push by 07. That would be probably the most useful, I think, strategy for 07 to employ right now, because if they leave the 430 there, he's going to eventually be destroyed, taken out, right? If you can't make your opponent pay for it, if you can't create any value from that Object 430, what are you doing, right?
Well, see, the thing is about that 430, the reason why he's up where he is right now, it's not for the gun. The one thing I mentioned earlier, a minute ago, is it also has really good camo value, so it can stay passive in one of these situations.
Isn't the 62A a little sneakier, though? I thought the
430 has the best camo.
Okay.
That whole line has the highest camo. The 416, the Object 430 V2 also has great camo.
Yeah.
And the 430 has the highest camo value of any of the 3 Russian mediums.
Oh, okay. Because I always get the orders mixed up for all 3 of them because the dynamics of each are so strange.
At a glance, for anyone just looking to get a Russian medium, if you don't have one already, for pubs, clan wars, 140 is preferred for organized play mostly just because it's faster. Its DPM is good, but not great. But its gun handling is also friendly. And Makos gets a completely evaporated MacTap in the grill, picking up the kill. But that will cost them Chase Potato.
Okay. A little bit of a trade. I think it's certainly
a tier 8 for a 10. That's a trade that I'll take any day of the week.
Yeah. Bird, though, takes a little damage. And so Dare pays in Chase Potato and some of Bird's hit points. So 07's finding a way of making these trades equate to a degree. But it's going to be tricky. I'm not quite sure what I think of this yet. Out of 07, the response
bounces coming off a Commodore.
I would have. What I was talking about earlier, I would have hoped 07 was going to go for a little bit of a counterplayer to try and create value out of their object, but they did create some value in that they were able to take down Chase Potato. I just felt like placing a tank in the northeast like that, it's a huge risk, and it didn't pay off for 07 as well as it could have. I think they could have put a little more effort in and possibly gotten something out of that.
Yep. The HE shell from Burdenfunk is going into the gun of Commodore, not damaging the gun, luckily for him, though. Ooh. But he does take another shot from the Bat RU-251 all the way down in the south of Fosta. Now, one thing I was going to say, though, is as far as the Russian mediums go, rule of thumb is the T-62A is just generally the best brawler because it has the quickest little mobility in the short term, the great traverse, good turret armor, and nice gun handling. 430 is quicker, keeps up the bat chats a bit better. The place the 430 excels at is the raw DPM, the point-blank brawls. It does have good camo value. The problem is its gun handling is abysmal, and its turret armor is the worst of all 3 of the Russian mediums. So most people, if you're looking to get into, say, Clan Wars something, 140 first, then T-62A, and then the 430 if you're bored or you just want to play a tank with great DPM.
Yeah. I recently picked up my 140.
Well, that's because the 140 came out after you'd already done the Russian mediums.
Yes, that's why. Because I completed all the lines and then I just didn't look back because T-62A best A. I mean, it's got an A. everything else has got other numbers and letters, so obviously the T62A must be the best, right? That was the logic I followed.
I love my T62A, don't get me wrong. 140 has never been nice to me, but that's totally besides the point right now. Shots being traded, cap pressure being put on by Newt in the bat chat. The grill is up of Mektat Putin up at A0. The STRV for 07 just lurking around D2. I don't really see any way for him to get involved right now, and 07 are just taking their time because there's no cap pressure. What I would like to see here, ideally, out of Dare is another tank getting onto cap.
Possibly. Now, Aggressor from Dare is in the southeast on the hill. Cover fire for bird and fungus, right? Also covering the south. Looks like he actually gets spotted, so a move coming out from... Who is that? Who must that be? Couldn't have been Fosta. Fosta's still hanging back
been
quite
sneaking
far.
shots into Burden so far this fight, though.
Yeah, just when he can. Aggressor just backed off, blind fired at the position Fosta was in, and he's actually going back for another try. And if he's able to actually get a hit into Fosta, would you mind actually jumping over to Fosta for me, Rox? Show me what happens on the other side. I'm watching Aggressor's POV right now, and Fosta is sitting passive in a little bush. Aggressor's going to be looking for blind fire. And actually, Aggressor decided to go up and over the tracks this time, which is a bit riskier because he actually gets himself spotted.
Well, the only thing the Aggressor has covering him right now, or Fosta has covering him, is the S-Tank on the high ground at D1. He'll have a few angles in here, but it's at such long range. Normally, I'd worry about shots at range, but if you play that S-Tank, one of the strong suits of it is its shell velocity is insane. So it can shoot at distance without much problem at all. Yeah,
shell velocity is a huge issue for tanks and when you start firing at ranges like that. Bat Chat suffers from a few issues with shell velocity. T-49 with the derp gun. Good luck. Actually, how's the Kronwagen? Have you done much sniping in that? I've really only brawled in it.
It's alright at range. The biggest thing that you can do with it is when you're hold down, you don't have to worry about scooting forward and backwards and taking a hit when you do like in a 50 beat. It's so soft that if you peek up just a little bit, if they can sneak the shot in there, it's going to pen.
Yeah.
The Kronwagen, you can just sit on a ridge and just stare at someone. As long as there's an artillery, you can stare at a JP and a grill and just say, go ahead and shoot me, you're not going to pen, and you can just fire all four of your shots. So its accuracy isn't the best, but because you don't have to wiggle, you can keep your gun on target without having to re-aim.
Sorry, Rox, look at this right now. Actually, it looks like My Little Putin Newt and Aggressor are all going to go up
and they're not
over.
Spotted yet. They're just going to come in. They still haven't been spotted, and they're going to go up and over. Milo Putin gets spotted first. Newt comes over. Durgil goes for the ram. Takes a majority of the hits for his team. 1,200 on to Durgil. He'll go down here in a second. But even Milo Putin and Aggressor haven't taken much damage. They do find the kill onto major issues as well. Kamendor losing his ammo rack. He goes down, and now it's a 3v6 for the third time tonight.
All right. Dare's certainly coming out and playing strong. Just right on target.
07 just feel flat-footed, I think is the best way to say it. They just seem like they're on their back heels.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to characterize it as well, because the way this started out was Dare started strong, right? They picked up the first 2 wins on steps. Now they've picked up a win on Proc. And they're going to follow it up with now another win. 07 is really going to have to put their heads on straight. Because remember,
we already saw one 4-0 comeback today, so I'm not going to rule it out. But I will say this, anyone that stacked this match for fantasy, you are probably cringing at the sight of this 4-0 right now.
Right now, if I stacked this match for fantasy, I'm going to tell the truth. I put 2 from both teams. I picked top performers and said, I don't care who wins. I'm going to get my fantasy points.
And that, my friend, is why you're in 150-something.
But guess what? It's not over yet. This is battle 4.
Boss actually gets the track onto Aggressor, but Aggressor picks it up with a ram.
Yeah, this is battle number 4. 07's not out yet. I know it looks that way. I know it looks like it's bad.
Well,
but there's still a chance.
Mines is up next, finally, so they need to get their momentum going and fast.
Yes, and if 07 can get back into this, if they can get their heads back on straight, if they can just move past these losses, there's a chance for them. But if they can't, if Dare is going to be able to keep this momentum, 07's going to let Dare keep this momentum. If they're going to let 07, if they're going to let Dare walk away with a 5-0, that's up to 07 right now.
And that's actually going to let time expire, a 10-minute round. And that's going to be Dare 4-0 up over 07 Gaming.
I'm just saying, it's not over till it's over.
Now, because I know that over 50% of the people playing the Fantasy League this season have picked Letif so far this season, you guys will be happy to know that at least he put up some decent damage despite the rest of his team tanking.
Exactly. That's why you put your money on Letif, because no matter what, win or lose, he puts the numbers on there. Mako's unfortunately not able to because he got destroyed really, really early on.
As did Chase Potato.
Poor Chase. Poor Chase Potato. It was sad to see him go like that. But 07?
He did his job, though. A tier 8 for a tier 10, that's nothing to scoff at.
No.
And look at the damage here. Top in the game, Ledif, 2,400 damage, no kills, 51 fantasy points. Durgil, 56, and then Newt in that bat chat, 112 fantasy points. Malputin, 62. Burden Fungus, and even Mactep Putin getting in there at 62 fantasy points.
100 fantasy points. That's not something you see every battle.
That's not bad. And Newt's been a pretty solid performer. He's had a few shaky games, but the first day he came in, he put up some great numbers for
Yeah, I remember that. I think I picked him a few days back, if I remember correctly, and he's solid. He was one of those players no one talked a lot about when roster changes came around. Newt was a player that was like, oh, cool, this guy's new. All right, I'm sure he'll do fine.
Well, the reason
I
why
thought
he's
he was going to just be a filler, but he turned out to be something
Well, the
quality.
reason he's gone unnoticed, actually, is because he comes from the Russian region. He had a different name over there.
Oh.
Switched his name. He's friends with My Little Putin and MacTap, and
Well,
so
just-
he came over from there. So not a lot of people here in
Yeah.
North America kind of know who he is because, one, they didn't know he changed his name, and two, not a lot of us watch the RU region.
Yeah, and of course, translating the names, like Master Putin, his entire team used to
MacTap
be...
Putin?
Yeah, MacTep, it's
Master
just
Putin.
Cyrillic to English characters. It's a whole mess.
Yep.
But his team, they used to name themselves after flowers.
Yeah, I remember that. The
Yeah.
hashtag RU days.
Yeah, hashtag RU, way back and when they surprised everyone and just somehow won the league.
That was season 4?
Depends on how you break it down, but yeah, season 4. And yeah, back in those days, he was... Those guys were on fire, but... Let's see. Oh, timeout
Well, you
call.
want
Sorry.
who's on fire right now is this whole team of Dare Rising. They're playing well, so much to the point where 07 are kind of overwhelmed, feeling the heat, and they called a timeout.
Yeah. Actually, was that a timeout called by... Yeah,
That was called
just
out
by
by 07.
Fosta. Yeah. I thought I saw 2 timeout calls, and I was like, oh, are we just going to get like a nice, really long timeout from both teams?
Dare
Halftime?
don't have any reason to call a timeout other than to toy with 07 in their emotions. Say,
Yeah.
hey, we're up 4-0. Let's call a timeout. Let you guys sleep on it, just like icing the kicker in a football game.
That's what I was thinking, because you're about to go to Mines, right? You give 07 more time, or do you call a timeout and try and throw them off?
Or
Like,
is this time that they need to regroup and where it's going to backfire on you?
we have no idea. We will have to see, because it's always tricky. Whether a team comes back from a short break with more energy or whether or not they lose what they had. And I think with 07 in this case, time is on their side. Dare's riding on momentum. They've got energy. They've got wins. What they could use their timeout for is, of course, to just center themselves, not get too aggressive, not get a little bit past where you need to be against 07. If you're following the meaning there, it's just sometimes you need to calm down, you know. And if you can do that, then Dare will be just fine. 07, though.
Yeah.
What do
Now-
you think of 07? What do they do on Mines to start this one out? Do you start with an aggressive strat? Do you start with a defensive? Do you start with crazy lineups, or you just play your game?
It's going to be 07 on defense. They've had some very creative defenses, brought in a lot of Grill 15s, 183s, played aggressive on the 9 line, and they've run them very well. So I expect to see them do something standard. Now, if they want to try to get back into this is one of those situations where it's not a bad thing to go, all right, guys, we're 4-0 down. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for the brawl. Let's just try to catch Dare out, make them do something that we haven't done all game, and just go for the raw aggression, get in their face. And if you do that, maybe you can get back into it, you can get some momentum going and go from there. Or you say, let's just do what we've been doing, let's stick to our guns and do the thing that we all know to do and run, our standard defense. And the problem with that is the fact that they've already been doing that and it hasn't been working.
Exactly. Well, let's see if 07 can bring themselves back into the series as we're about to head into map number 3.
Mines, a small summertime map with lots of hills, rocks and other cover. The teams start the battle in the usual locations, but the base locations are different. One is located in the bottom part of the village and the other one is in the water. One of the key objectives is the center hill. That's why the teams will often select fast vehicles and tanks with strong turrets for cover.
All right, Rox, tell me about these lineups. What's 07 doing? Will it work?
Is that? Yeah, that's a thing. A JPE E100, a grill, a TVP, 2 batchets, an IS-7, and a T49. 07, a Kronwagen, 3 batchets, a TVP, a grill 15, and an M4043.
Explain this to me.
So this is the 52nd tank we have seen this season of the JPE E100.
Chase Potato, opening run.
They're going to take him, they're going to put him on cap, and they're going to have him sit there, hold down, and just stare at that corner where the grills pop up. And actually, major issues. Oh my, up. And Milo Putin either misses or gets a track shot that doesn't pen.
He got spun. He got spun on one of the track shots, and that saved him.
Because that should have been a JPE shell for 1,000 damage into major issues right there.
Luckily, that was a track shot into a sweet spin that looked really cool.
Yep. And actually a spot that we haven't seen much this season. Chase Potato sitting in the bushes here, doing exactly what he just did, which is spot that cross, even all the way down to the red line. And now they know major issues is down there.
I'm surprised they went for that with a T-49, especially with the gun choice, and the JPE goes just over major issues. He is so lucky. He is the luckiest little bat chat, and he's going to live a little longer.
When an 183 staring at you, you're scared, but you know it's a head shell, so you know there's the chance that even if he hits you, he doesn't pen. With the JPE and the amount of penetration that gun has, you just don't want to be hit at all. Not that you want to be hit by 183, but that's just 1,000 damage, bare minimum, gone.
Yeah, it should not be pretty for you. And
major issues has a horseshoe hidden somewhere apparently because he's lucky to miss 2 shots so far.
He's a lucky little guy. Now Fosta is going to have great shots actually onto the cap loaning in the M4043.
And he has some horseshoe with him right now because Durgil just missed a snapshot off on the major issues. He is so lucky to be alive right now. That's almost 3,000 potential damage that should have been done on major issues at this point that hasn't been done.
You know who doesn't care about major issues? Master Putin. But guess what happened to Master Putin?
He's going to find the grill in the backfield for 716.
And here we go. Surprise, Commodore from downtown. Newt goes up, makes the jump. But again, Dare is getting incredibly aggressive to try and finish this battle. They're going to go for the cap pressure.
And major issues might actually win this 1v1 here. He does. He takes him down. Fosta actually finds the kill into Newt. And then MacTap trades out for major issues.
Yeah, that was not an efficient trade for Dare.
Major issues playing that as best as he could, but when you have this many tanks and all these different angles, it's one of those positions where he's playing for the team and not playing for himself.
Exactly. But it could have been a bit heavy of a play from Dare. This could finally be the one that 07 can defend, though.
This is what I thought we'd see out of the JPE, is put him on the back slope here where his lower plate's hidden. All they can see is the superstructure of that JPE. Now, a heat shell can pen the turret or the little machine gun port on the top. I'll zoom in here in a second. This little machine gun port on the back. We can get a shot of that.
And yeah.
Right there. The little bubble right there on the back. That's actually a weak spot right there. Little machine gun sticking out. But they can also just pen the superstructure, or in this case, just fire HE and get the resets.
Already.
Chase Potato just small enough to hide behind the JPE.
Yeah, that was Fosta sitting perfectly south. Just waiting to find it.
Potato, look at this. Dead gunner, damaged track, damaged vision port. Getting all sorts of beaten up right now.
Yep. And it looks like right towards the cap. Actually, more towards aggressor, maybe. We're going to see that already with 30 seconds left. And actually, no, My Little Putin's going to get off, extending the cap time.
And actually, Mako's the bat chat in behind. Going to sit here and have good shots, and this is falling apart for Dare right now. 07 got very aggressive in the north, got their bat chats in, and actually Fosta from the south takes down Chase Potato. Now, something to look at here is there isn't anyone really covering Fosta outside of the grill in the backfield, so Fosta's playing extremely risky over here, and as I say that, they're going to move the bat chat of MacTap Putin up to go clean him out.
So right now, the entire position of Dare is surrounded. They've taken a lot of damage, so they're down a significant number of tanks.
And MacTap gets tracked in the open by the TVP, and he goes down.
And it's a matter of time. This is 07's win, right here. Artillery was brought, and Dare did not take that out. Without killing Artie, you can't take the cap. Not on the east side, really. And because of that, I'm expecting this one to become an 07 defense.
Well, you can't do it when you have a tank like a JPE, which the one thing that people overlook is the thing about this cap is part of the fight is just remaining unspotted, making the other team struggle to get the spots onto you. And a JPE, even though it's a tank destroyer, it is not a tank you bring if you want to be sneaky.
Yes. Subtlety is about the last thing on your mind if you're thinking about tank
look at this thing. Look at this thing. Look at that gun. It's a gun that you could literally get taken off of a battleship.
It's an actually bigger E100. It's someone saw the E100 design and said, how can we make it bigger? And that's what this is.
Let's just take a gun off a battleship and throw it onto a tank. Why don't you?
Yeah. Well, actually, even then, you're saying, let's take a battleship cannon that's even big for a battleship.
Fair.
All right. So give it a moment. Dare shouldn't be able to actually finish this one out if 07's able to stay on top of it.
And Burden's actually taking some damage, getting chipped away from the TVP. Letif's still in the backfield looking for a connection.
And yeah, this 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. I don't see a lot of options for Dare.
And Artie puts a shot into Malaputin, takes out his ammo rack, so he's going to be slow to reload on an already slow reload. He's going to push towards the north. Does take the snapshot on the Makos. I don't know that Malaputin's actually done any damage this game. I haven't seen him land any connections.
I haven't either. And that could just be because the JP100 is such a... We talked about subtlety, actually. I'll just jump back. We talked about subtlety. When there is no subtlety in an E100, people don't understand how to avoid it. When there are 7 players on the battlefield, it's a little bit easier than when there are 15 to avoid a Yagpad.
Well, especially when the other team is mostly bat shots and TVPs, tanks that can outrun it even on a small map like this.
Exactly. So the E100 is just going to be someone so big and so scary that they make too much noise and they just cause too much disruption, and they're not fast enough to catch you.
Now, the one thing that bringing this JP does is all these bat shots firing APCR don't really have the penetration to pen the superstructure of this JP. They have to hit the lower plate or the side, and Malaputin's doing a great job at keeping his armor angled towards people, but Iwana, who's not angling their armor well, is Aggressor, not that it would matter because it was an M40-43 that just smacked him.
Yeah, Aggressor tried to take cover against the bat jets to his north. Unfortunately, Artie is in the south, so this is why it's only a matter of time, guys, because right now it doesn't matter how good Dare is, what they can come up with. They're in a scenario where 07 has already outplayed them in that respect.
You could argue this battle was won before it was played.
It very much so. The strategy that Dare tried was, I gotta say, it's kind of cool. It's fun to watch.
It was the strategy of a team that is up 4-0 with nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But that's also how teams get back into a fight.
It is. This is true. But also, we talked about it. The Batchat cannot hit. Oh, gosh.
Makos.
Oh, goodness. Oh, Makos. He's just waiting to get loaded. Andy Pan steals the kill. And that's the first win for 07. All right. See? They're back into it. Now we swap sides. 07's going to be on attack. And I think we covered it fairly thoroughly there. Opening strategy.
All I can see is Makos running into that JP and then Malaputin just going to even lift, bro. It's just dead stop. Just nothing.
It weighs like at least 5 times as much as a Batchat, doesn't it?
Something along those lines. I mean, Batchat's 25 tons. JP E100 is at least 100 tons. So yeah.
There you go. So with that, swapping sides. Can 07 get the win on attack? Keep this one going, because after this we move on to Murovanka,
which is a map that 07 are, to be polite, not the greatest on.
It needs work. Well, they've been doing their homework. I know, because Fosta talks to me here and there, asks a few questions.
Fosta in that artillery, 3k damage, 3 kills, 135 fantasy points.
Yep, and he's always looking at replays. Know that for a fact, so they're doing their homework.
Yep, Letif only able to get off 31 fantasy points. And on the second page here, My Little Putin, normally one of the better damage dealers in the league, only able to get off 642 damage.
Yes. So, now that we swap sides, 07 on attack, Mines. What are their stats looking like on attack? Looks like on attack, Mines, about 60%. Not bad. Respectable. And after a win like that against Dare probably is just saying, let's get serious again, because I think that was a complaint about one of their matches the other week. Dare had trouble against Aquatic M60s, and I believe that one was one where I believe the feedback from Dare was they weren't taking it as seriously as they should have been, if I remember correctly.
And you have to remember, Dare is definitely one of the younger teams in the league. They have Master Putin, who's on the older side, but then you have players like Aggressor, Mao Putin.
But also the roster is younger in a lot of ways. And in that being, this team has not been around together for an extremely long amount of time. So as far as consistency goes, Dare can slip up here and there. 07 as well has made significant changes, also trying to figure themselves out, find their identity. And well, these two teams are sitting there fighting for that second tier in our league, where, yes, Apex, Eclipse, they lead the way. These guys are the ones hot on their heels, though.
Yep. Well, looking at the lineups here, Dare Rising, a 113, an IS-7, Batchat, a TVP, an FV, 215B 183, and 2 Tier 9 Batchats. 07 coming in with a 113, an IS-7, 2 Batchats, 2 TVPs, and a T-49. But this T-49 is going to be bringing the derp gun.
There we go. That's what I was hoping to see. Because I was wondering why we weren't seeing derp gun as much. I understand in the sense of dealing small amounts of damage, but really the T-49, when it comes down to doing anything in a battle, it usually gets one chance, doesn't it?
Pretty much, and that's why for the derp gun. The snapshot actually goes off and does 302 at a snapshot moving at full speed. Not bad there. Not able to get a penetration, though. Aggressor arguably lucky that didn't pen because the TVP doesn't exactly have a lot of armor.
Yes. And without artillery on Dare for defense, that gives a lot of control and a lot of power, I think, to the hill, the middle hill on this map. Because here, without the risk of taking artillery damage just by being on the hill, you're going to have you're just going to be able to play that comfortably.
And look at what Burton Fungus has done here in the IS-7.
He's found Ledith.
He finds Ledith, who's in trouble. He's trying to get away. Tier 9 Batchat's on his tail. Ledith's not even taking the moment to stop because he knows that these Batchats may be coming. He's going to get him behind the rock and wait for some teammates to come help him out.
And I don't know if anyone's coming to help him out, actually, Rox. I don't know if help is on the way.
Well, it may just be his job at this point, just draw as many guns as he can while the rest of his team makes a play towards the other side of the map.
Yes, because on the other side of the map...
And Warbandor actually trying to get up into Burton's face, try to make him back off, takes some shots from MacTap in the distance, and has to back down.
Yeah, well, he dealt some damage onto Putin as well, so there was a bit of a trade back and forth. Mako's on the hill in the far east. This is a big split. Ledith all the way to Makos, from the farthest on the west that you reasonably will be until all the way up in the mountains on the east. You are a split 07. If Dare can group up, they might be able to take an advantageous fight somewhere, if they can figure out how to go about making that attack. It's tricky at this point. But if Makos is able to get into position in the backfield, I think he's going to be able to get some fire onto possibly Newt, Chase Potato. That'll weaken the back line of Dare, and that should allow for 07 to start feeling things out and possibly get some pressure.
Or if takes some damage finally. 474. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, go for it. Looks like Bird actually is not going to be able to take fire from Makos in the backfield. He's actually hunting for fire. He's trying to find an angle. And I don't think this is something that a lot of... The position Bird is in, I don't think that this is something 07 was prepared to have to deal with as much.
Oh, I think that's part of the reason why they did it. The other thing to look at here is what this strat for Dare is doing is this is making them waste a whole lot of time trying to figure out how to deal with them. And at some point, 07 just need to go, all right, we're not going to get them out, so let's do something different because this is already 3 minutes gone and they really aren't any closer to accomplishing anything than when the battle started.
Although, to 07's credit, I have to say that they're more developed in their strategy in many ways. They haven't dealt the damage. But Makos is up on the east side. Ledith has already done some work on the west. I feel like 07's, as far as intelligence goes, as far as like their knowledge of their opponent's layout in the battlefield, have a pretty decent idea.
And we talk about passive defenses being a problem because it takes the other team, it lets the other team have the time to figure out where they are and then develop a plan to attack it. And when you sit there passive, all you have is you just have to pray that you spot the other team before they get there and your crossfires are going to hold up.
Yeah. We'll see.
And in this case, it's going to come down to can 07 use this intel they have to find a way to break into this defense.
And we're going to listen in with 07 to find out the answer to your question, Rox.
One bush?
You can't be there.
No,
so you gotta get out.
More I and more to the right. Yeah, there you go. Nice.
There is a...
I don't have shots on that.
I actually connected a couple of them.
I'm gonna clip.
I mean, the IS-7's still sitting here, so I'm basically just trading to the IS-7's position.
So there's a 113 sitting here.
Can we not get Makos, like... The 183 is facing Makos, right?
Yeah, 183 is facing
Makos. Why don't we just group everything in here? Just kill this. Yeah, just group in here and kill all this shit. Yeah. That's all I think. The I-7 can't fight... The I-7 and the I-7 and the Bat APs will push me.
Alright, so we need Major to come up.
Yep, just take middle and as soon...
come middle also, right?
As soon as you guys clear middle...
pushing that 183 though.
As soon as you clear middle, you guys need to be ready to shoot APs that will come on my position. That's what you need to do.
The 113
I would say in the middle though. I'm 1100. I might see.
Makos will farm that. Makos will farm that guy. Makos will farm.
Okay, ready.
I only have 4. I'm gonna should I clip or no?
You should be fine.
Fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna farm the
We
113.
need to just push it into this pocket. We need to mitigate damage from here, and we need to mitigate damage from under here. The 183 dies, and Makos is free to shoot anything in that region. That's all we need.
Okay.
Are we pushing it with 2 heavies or like with everything?
Yeah, both
Heavy should go. Heavy should go into this pocket.
Let's go.
TVPs,
Let's
TVPs
go.
just like play conservatively enough. Not
I
to
know,
die.
yeah. Major, you can go more aggressive, have more HP than me.
Okay, just
But don't get tracked. Like,
Rock,
this,
like
this
there's a
thread-
rock
Yeah,
here.
Annie camp.
This
Yo,
thread.
TVP's gonna follow this
We're
up.
going. Makos, be ready to
You're
shoot the
going
183 if he
into
looks
the wrong
away.
spot.
You should be going to the rock. Yeah.
The 183 is facing the heavy.
Yeah, shit.
Fired.
Ledif is not going to move yet.
He fired. He fired. He fired.
Shells from Mactub. Mactub's down 3.
I got him. Andy's
Mactub's down 4.
I'm
IS-7
on
is still
fire.
here.
I'm done.
IS-7 is still here. Ledif is looking for shots on Newt.
Newt,
I've got
one.
nothing.
Makos is clipping.
Newt fired.
Can you guys finish the TVP and shit in there? And the bat?
Watch
ISO
the
is
Cam, watch
Well, when you have no good answers, the best direction's forward.
Forward is the best direction. It's a good way to play. You know, when you don't have an answer, sometimes that just works. Just start a fight, you know? Because you've seen it before where people have walked out of brawls they shouldn't, and 07 walks into one they shouldn't.
And now Ledif going to get a chance to do some damage as Mactub and Chase Potato push into him. Chase Potato taking a majority of the shots. And Ledif might actually win this. He's only going to have 1 shell left. He's going to need some help from team to clean out these 2 bat chats.
But
He needs 1 more shot from a teammate right now, and Major Issues is going to have it, and all of a sudden, 07 aren't looking like they're in a terrible position.
see, forward is the best direction, proving our own point.
They
We
take
didn't
down
even try.
Aggressor. It's a 3v3.
Newt's loaded, very low on hit points. 1 shell should take him out. He's not even spotted though.
Major Issues going to run away from Burden Fungus. Burden going to snap a shot off towards Makos, not connect.
And all of a sudden, it didn't look like it was going to work for 07. And yet, that 1 shell, I think that was Major Issues, right? He saved Ledif.
Yeah, Major Issues kept Ledif alive there, and now he's going to let Ledif get into.
Yeah, without Major Issues making that shell connect, this is a different game, isn't it? This is a completely different
I
battle.
agreed completely.
Yeah. And they spot Bird on the way up. Are they going to...
Durgill's up on the hill. Now, the only thing that these guys have alive is Makos up on the boost. Could get some shots onto the back of Durgill on this ledge, I believe.
Yes, he can. And he's actually looking in that direction right now. So
He just needs to be
Durgill,
loaded, which he's not yet.
5 seconds. That's all he needs. He's loaded, 2, 1, and loaded. Shot out.
Track shot.
Yep.
No damage.
It went low, hit the ground, hit Durgill's track. And now they know the angle that they're safe at. Now, the tricky part for 07 is where's Newt?
He's actually heading towards the south right now. He's heading down to K4, probably sit in the bush down there. And he'll be ready to cut off these tanks as they try to go down south.
Or
They're
is
hidden right now.
southwest, right? He goes to like H1, H2. And then from there, he's got shots in the backside of the 07 tanks in the
He
west.
could, but being low HP, that's a little bit risky.
Yeah, but then what you do is you bring the IS-7 and the 113. You keep them safe from Makos' angle, right? Because Dare knows that Makos hasn't left the hill. Now, this is something out of 07. Because now 07
They're just
can
going to
actually
push
aggress
over.
back.
Durgill's going to take both shots.
And Durgill's actually exposed, takes 1 from Makos on the hill.
Now, Major Issues needs to get to cover before they reload. Ledif should be able to pick up the kill. Major Issues gets the fire. Now, Major Issues needs to get safe. He's going to stay alive. Ledif getting down, and now Makos is coming down off the hill. Minute 30 left.
Just Makos can clean this up.
2 one-shot tanks for Dare.
And Makos alone should be able to finish it. And he's going to leave the hill. He's got 3 shells left. He needs to make 2 connections overall. I think even a relatively low roll, an incredibly low roll, is the only thing I could imagine that wouldn't kill Durgill, but
360, that's not out of the picture for a bat chat. And as I say that, Newt picks up the kill onto Ledif. Makos needs to hurry up and get in here because he only has a minute left while he's on cap right now. I'm going to get off cap. They know that the bat chat's out here. Major Issues may get picked up by Newt.
no.
Major Issues just going forward. Makos is heading towards the 113.
At the same time, yep, Makos moving up.
This 1v1 between Major Issues and Newt may decide this game right here.
Makos actually could have had a shot onto Newt for a moment. He finds Dersh. Shot goes low for 333. Second follow-up, gets the kill.
Now, Major Issues can eat 1 shell for pretty much safe, but they can play Ring Around the Rosie. This shot, and there he goes. Major Issues picks it up and saves the day for 07, keeping them in this fight, making it 4-2.
See that? That's nice to see.
You know, I said earlier we saw Kazma crew come back from being 4-0 down against Gohard, or no, excuse me, Ding.
Yep.
In the E region this morning. This match started off 4-0. It's 4-2 right now, and we're heading into Murovanka.
Oh, I'm loving this. This is a great story to follow because 07 was a team that, like, they reasonably should make this a close fight. This should be a tiebreaker. It was a tiebreaker last time, and it went to 07. If it goes to Dare seems like they might be a little stronger right now, but there's arguments for 07, there's arguments for boys. Whoever you talk to, everyone has a little different opinion on how this goes down. But Master Putin, after last battle, he did about 3K. And then on the other side for 07, you had actually, 2 members of the team dealing 3,000 damage. That was Makos and Letif.
Makos did 3,800 damage.
And those are, by the way, the top damage dealers, the top performers on this team. So if you look at it, the guys who consistently put
one of
the top numbers up are on the top board.
Letif isn't even one of the top damage dealers on his team. He's one of the top damage dealers in the whole league.
Yeah, and because he's alive, that makes the difference. Let's say someone else had gone down, like he'd gone down and someone else was alive later in the battle. While they do perform really well, and I think that's an all-star lineup you see on the team, Letif has got the performance. He's putting up the numbers, so all the better that he managed to live a little longer in the battle. So 07 is still in this fight. After 2 wins like that, yes, you're down 4. 1 loss loses it all, right? But 07's looking good now.
All right,
this is safe for them.
We'll come back into the second because I'm sure everybody wants to see right now Apex just run over whoever they're playing 5-0. Take a look at this. Valence.
Oh no, Apex has been dominating everyone.
Apex are hot right now.
Apex beat Dare last.
They've been beating everyone left and right.
Yeah, they
5-1, 5-0, and just another master performance from Apex right now. I say whoever they're playing because at this point, I don't think anyone in the league is going to come close to touching them. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, before you're even on the battlefield, I'm pretty sure their reputation precedes them enough to the point where it makes the difference at this point.
They're down HP, and they just do Apex things where they manage to just come back into a game they have no right being in.
Just Apex things.
Just Apex things.
Winning 5-0.
Wally.
We doubted Wally so much early in the season, and now...
to be fair, this is my thing, is Apex last season, they were the best team we had in the league, and I didn't know that bringing in Wallhacks into this team could make them perform even better, and that's what they've done this season. They've stepped it up. They turned it up to 11.
Yeah, and earlier on, we had some doubts. There was some little growing pains, but oh my goodness.
Do they look good right now?
Oh, yeah. I don't think anyone's...
I just hope that Ox was able to farm in that match despite it being a 5-0, because I need those fantasy points.
No, you're not going to get fantasy points with Apex. They're too good. Every 5-0, there's too much going on.
But
top damage. Yeah,
Fox does Ox things.
Yeah, but you can only get so much damage when 5 battles, but when you extend that to 8 or 9, everything's better. Yep. Apex should perhaps consider running riskier strats. Maybe they'll get better if they want to worry about fantasy points.
I think they're just worried about getting first place and keeping that unlocked than they are fantasy points.
No way. You don't say.
I mean, Canadian Impact seems to be worried about it because he's TKing people left and right to make sure he gets the last kill. So he obviously cares, but everyone else,
I'm not sure. All right. So we're moving on to Murra. Let's get back on to Dare Rising 07. Right. So Dare looks like defense for them this time.
Yep. Well, we'll have to see how they do on defense as we head into what is possibly the last map of the series.
Murovanka, a map with a great number of buildings, bushes and trees, amongst which teams hide for most of the battle. The attacking team begins the battle from the top of the village, and the defenders start from the bottom of the map. Both bases are better controlled from the hill near the first base, and from the green in the lower left corner of the map. There are many attack directions. The attacking team often attempts to gain the attention of defenders by putting pressure on the first base, whilst manoeuvring several tanks behind the second base to deliver fire into the defending's flank. Team setups are very diverse, but the players often choose the fastest tanks, even for heavy setups. They could even bring SPGs.
Lineups coming in 07, 5 Batchettes and 2 Emil 2s. Dare Rising, a Kronwagen, an E5, 3 Batchettes, a TVP, and an AMX 1390.
Let's see how that works out. Moving Faust out of a scout, putting him into a heavy tank for hull down play. Nothing wrong with that. He does just fine, but wanted to make note that on a map where normally Fosta would be expected to play a scout role, we're going to be going to Batchat scouts. And actually, wait, no, Fosta had binoculars, or rather coated optics. He's running coated optics. So,
well, look look at the equipment setup here for a second for my little poop.
Oh yeah, he's got binoculars. That's what I was looking at before. I was kind of worried about that. That says west side.
Binos. Now, there's two typical equipment setups we see for bat shots. That's vert stab, gun lane drive, and vents, the lineup you run for brawling. And then you can drop gun lane drive, typically is the first one you drop in favor of coated optics.
Yeah. With the way you play in a bat chat, you don't need the gun lane drive as much because you're going to be on the move so often that the gun lane drive only comes into play when you stop, really. Right? Because you're either on the move in full reticle or you're not, and you've had time to zero in. And it helps, but sometimes there's better stuff, like binoculars.
Vents on an autoloader. Vents is something you pretty much always want to run because it's not even help that reload.
It's not even a question, you know? At that point, it's like, wait, I'm going to give a little boost to everyone on my crew, and I have perfect crews, so I'm going to have a 5% boost to that?
Yeah. Well, exactly. And the thing about it is, autoloaders don't have gun rammers, so they don't have that benefit. So Vents basically takes its place. And a shot through the turret of Commodore, it looks like. I didn't see where that actually penetrated.
That's what I'm looking for right now. Trying to see where he was penetrated.
Lower plate, maybe?
No. Well, I don't know. I don't know where it went. I don't know where that shell went.
Magical shell.
Probably into the side of his tracks.
Is it that front corner right there?
It's probably one of those shells that goes right between tracks.
I think it's that front left corner right there of the turret. No, it's not. Yeah, I got nothing. Had to.
Side of the turret.
There we go.
Side turret. It's hard to see, especially with the 07 paint.
Yeah, with the paint camo.
Yeah, so it was just barely on the side of that armor. So the side of the turret on the ML2 is not so well armored. But
and Commodore does have a dead gunner now. It looks like he is not running first aid kit. He ran for double repair kit.
Oh no, you don't need that in an ML2. You're supposed to be sniping here.
Well, you don't want to get tracked while working a ridge line. You got to repair that ammo rack because DPM is terrible already.
But Jack of all trades will help out with that.
Well, you could argue Jack of all trades will help out with this. So
yeah, but you know,
I get it.
Jack of all trades. When you lose a crew member, your commander steps in, helps them perform a little bit less poorly since they've been injured or whatever you want to characterize that as.
Mm-hmm.
And
the one thing that you have to remember is these players also have stuff that a lot of people don't get on their normal crews, like Eagle Eye, the ability that lets you put your mouse onto another tank for 2 seconds and see exactly what's damaged on the other tank.
Which, by the way, is awesome when you're a passive scout, because you just sit there and instead of like trying to figure out what might have been done, you get to sit there and just zero in on everyone's
he's ammo
crew.
racked? All right, so I'll just, he has a dead, not ammo racked, but he has a dead loader or something? Oh,
yeah.
All right, well,
and
let it fire once and go.
And on a map like this, as a passive scout, you actually have time to do something with that. Whereas normally in a battle, you're not going to have time to put your reticle on someone, look at what's damaged, and then make decisions based on that. You know?
And a lot of shots going off towards these ML2.
Fosta's going to get destroyed.
Fosta and Cam both going down. Commodore might get in here at the last second, but these are two heavy tanks down for 07.
No, he's not down yet. Fosta's not dead yet. Not yet. Not quite yet. He's still alive.
The comeback hangs in the balance right now. 07 need this win to have a chance. Otherwise, it's going to be Dare walking away with a 5-2 victory.
Yeah, for a moment, those ML2s were in a dangerous spot, Rocks. But it looks like they'll be lucky today. And 92 hit points on Fosta with no critical damage. Commodore, yeah, he's lost a little bit, but you know he's not out of the fight yet.
And we have 3 bat shots hanging out at B1, maybe ready for a push or something. And if you look at it, how they're set up, they're drawing the attention towards the bat shots and the ML2s right now. They're trying to get Dare to move tanks over towards the 3 line. And then what I thought was going to happen was that they were going to make some sort of push down the 1 line with the attention turned, and then once they turn back towards the 1 line, the bat shots and meals can close the distance and kind of pincer out these tanks from Dare. However, it looks like 07 are going to have a different idea about it, and they're going to pull 2 of their bat shots away.
All right, well, as we see 07 begin to reconnoiter on the map, we're going to go ahead and listen in, see what they're up to.
You're staying C1. You're always staying C1. You're not leaving C1, or you can go to C3, and if you want to finish a clip out into E1, you can. Nice.
I got respotted when I'm shifting out, so that's fine.
That's fine. You don't need to shift out. You can go back to here.
What the fuck? Chase Potato picked me up from the fucking bush.
He's here then?
He's in here. Oh my god. He's right down the
You
road.
didn't need to leave us. I'm not sure you're leaving. You're
Dude, there's no... What else am I going to do?
It's fine. You're gonna cover.
What the
Okay,
fuck?
these bats are gonna go and they're gonna back me up on the ridge. I guess I should try to late chase maybe, or the bat.
He fucking he lit me, I think, from here.
No, I didn't. The Kron lit you.
No, I think,
Okay, what's the
no.
play? What's the play?
I'm gonna have to light the 1390. 3 bats in the south are gonna have to kill the 1390 and this bat trap that's there. I'm gonna get to the building. Fossa, you really think he's in this square, right?
Yes, he is. He lit me up the road.
Yep. Line guns then. Line guns up. I'm gonna light it. And then I'm gonna get under here.
Like, it's not
Hamador,
a spot.
cover me from here. Makos, go to here.
Makos, we just have to play. We have to play greedy.
Yeah, we have to be split. We have to be split.
I can do my best, but I don't have good
That's fine.
shots.
Just try to get like 2 shots. They're gonna push you, dude. They're gonna push you. All right, be ready. I'm gonna just swag down into here and then cut in. Bats. There's gonna be a bat like lit up here and lit down here, and I'm gonna try and kill the 1390. Are you guys ready and aimed?
Rotating.
Are you ready and aimed? I'm going now.
Warbandit Major, you guys are not aiming.
I know.
Hello?
Oh.
I'm aiming
Pull
right
up,
now.
just pull
I'm
up.
aiming.
The
I'm aiming.
1390
Just
won't
pull
like
up right
you.
now.
Pull
Pull
up
up right now.
That's what I'm doing.
There he is. There's my little Putin as well. Can we hit my little Putin? No. Good. Okay, we can get cap pressure now. Makos, you're looking for any damage you can.
I'm having on cap. I'm on cap now.
Good. 2 on cap. Actually, Cam, can you get out? Makos, why are you dying?
2 on cap? Okay, 2 bats on cap.
I'll do
I'm gonna do 3. I'm gonna do 3. Yeah, 3 on.
Oh shit, I'm lit. I'm spotted.
Blood got lit leaving.
One more tank
I can shoot Putin, but I'm on cap. I'm not.
No need.
Yeah.
This Immel and Bat, we're creating space for you.
back.
You guys need to get damage when we go, because they're gonna go for you or they're gonna come for us.
Cam,
We're
can you
creating
grab that,
space
Cam?
for you.
Yeah,
Yo, I'm just gonna have to push K. I'm gonna have to push K and just YOLO. 3 on cap. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna push and kill the bat on K.
The other one's got to push out at this bat, basically.
Okay, good luck, lad.
They have
20
plenty,
seconds. Nah, they're gonna get it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Why are you shooting?
They might not have reach shots on the circle.
What?
He's retracked. It's too late. It's over.
It's over. They got reset.
We bled so much on the meals, it's gonna work out.
The Immels have to wait though. Foster, you just had to chill because your guys' guns. If you can get to here like you were.
And Ledif does not have enough swag to save his team from the defeat right now.
Although that was a swagalicious little play. I have to give him credit for that. 07 almost had it.
Yeah, major issues, making a little mistake there, firing a little bit early. You still have to give your team the best chance you can to win. It looked bad. You could tell he was trying to get some damage, but at the same time, they hadn't been spotted yet, so they had to hold on to that hope that they wouldn't be, and they'd buy him that extra few seconds to maybe get the cap out.
Exactly.
Still looking gray, still not likely, but you still need to do what you can to give your team the best chance.
I got to appreciate the discipline as well.
Yeah.
Not firing, and then right at the end, who was it that did?
Major issues was the first one that fired.
Everyone yells at him, but of course it's too late by that point. But
Yeah.
I got to give credit to the rest of 07, all the players trying to stay disciplined, be like, no, we were told not to fire. Just stop. Don't do it. We were told not to. I don't care if you don't think it matters.
Warbender, going to be the last one going down here. 108 HP, the only thing he has left. Does put a shot into Newt. Has a couple shots left. Newt and Milo Putin both chasing him down.
They just don't have any ammo. There we go.
There we go. And that's going to be a 5-2 victory in favor of Dare Rising, recovering from their defeat earlier in the week.
And their defeat earlier in the season to 07. They lost in a tiebreaker last time. It does not go that far. 07 does not get the chance. Dare winning this time, where 07 won last time. So improvement on the side of Dare. I think we've all noticed, though, they've been on the rise.
Yeah, definitely. And that's going to put them up 2-1 overall in the series right now over 07.
Exactly. Taking a look at some of the highlights from this battle. I loved Lidif's swag play. I loved hearing that on comms. He's like, I'm just going to swag out, find the scout. And it just communicated everything I needed to know about what he was going to do. I didn't realize the word swag was so versatile until I heard it used in that context. It's truly become a phenomenon in the English language.
Well, looking at the damage, Burden Fungus, 64 fantasy points. Not bad there. Aggressor, doing what he does, 2,500 damage, 72 fantasy points. Well, Putin had a relatively quiet night tonight. That game in the JP certainly didn't help. Durgil playing the E5 there, 74. Mactab only able to get off 34 fantasy points with 1,300 damage and 1 kill. Definitely a quiet night there.
That hurts for me.
Chase Potato not really able to do a whole lot, and both of those Emil 2s getting caught out in the open, losing all their HP, not really able to be effective in that fight.
Whoa, I thought Foster or Commodore would have done any damage, but ouch.
Foster got picked off early. Cam was alive for a little bit, but he was the first one that they decided to focus out when they made that push because he was the low HP tank.
And now, Aggressor. You've been talking about him all night. I know you're a big fan. You've been wanting to see him perform big time, and there you go, 340 fantasy points for him.
Ledev having a quiet night at 295.
259.
259. And then 300 points out of Maktab Putin despite not doing that much damage. 7 kills. Solid stuff there. Out of the Russian.
There we go. And that's a pretty straightforward match. Dare plays a solid opening, wins 4 in a row. Yes, 07 came back and won 2 battles, but Dare cleaned it up. It's incredibly hard, though. When you're already down 4, to come back and win 4 in a row on top of that, it's fine to win 4 battles in a row to start a match because there's no risk of losing one battle and everything falls apart. But if your opponent's already got those 4 points, you can't afford any slip-ups. And I think that's what got to 07, because the minute when it started to get a little bit past the point of reasonable for 07 to win, I think we could all feel the doubt.
Yep. Well, let's see if Aggressor was able to feel the doubt right now as he joins us on our face-off.
Hey, Aggressor.
Hey.
How you
doing?
That was pretty well played, I'd have to say.
Thank you. 4
up on the start. Go lose 2 on mines. I guess you were willing to take that, though. It was 07 after all.
I mean, we thought we should win, but stuff happens.
Yeah, it seems like that was the one map 07 had over you guys as far as experience and statistically at least. They've performed a little bit better.
We didn't think they were going to bring Artie when we brought the JPEG.
I think we could tell. We could really, really tell, because all of a sudden the strategy you guys brought looked like you weren't so sure, right?
Yeah.
So let me try to get this right. JP strat is basically put cap pressure on, make something peak to get resets, and have a JP sitting there ready to smack him for 1,000.
Well, technically what won that game is we bounced major issues 3 times with all of our TDs. And because he was there, he got the flank shots in, and just his presence kind of threw us off a little bit.
Yeah. How did you guys deal with losing mines twice in a row? Did that throw you guys off at all, or did it?
Well, not really. I mean, we're pretty. I mean, yeah, we don't like losing, but we're pretty whatever. Next one, move on.
Okay. Yeah,
it goes by really quick.
Yeah, because I always wonder how teams deal with that, because sometimes you're up 4 and you just say it doesn't matter. We've got 4 to win. One of them's going to happen, and then you just try not to put too much effort into one. But it looked like that JP fast cap was that. It looked like that was your let's finish this strat.
Well, I mean, we put a lot of thought in it before we played it. It just didn't work out. So.
All right. Well,
whatever.
I want to ask then about. This is a rematch. It's 07 versus Dare. You guys have come out ahead this time. Last time was a tiebreaker, and you guys didn't finish it out. What's the difference between beginning of the season, Battle 1, and now? What is that for you guys? What were you then? What are you now?
We're just more smooth right now. We, like I said, we practice them a lot, trying a lot of new crazy strats, and then, we're just trying to execute them pretty well. They're working out.
All right, and then yeah, and so that I want to get your perspective on those 7 as well, because you guys were the ones really there on the battlefield. What did you think of 07? Were they showing up like they usually do? Was that the 07 you expect them to be?
What do you
thinking? What are you thinking? Come on.
I'm trying to. Couple throws happened, but after we won 2 on the first map, I kind of thought we were going to go all the way 5-0, but like I said, you don't know. The skill level here is so even that anything could really happen.
Exactly. It's just so hard to tell sometimes. You look at one person win and they look amazing, but you can't tell that the only reason that the slip-up happened was he accidentally rolled over a crumb with his mouse and all of a sudden it threw his reticle off, right? It's the tiniest things that create the biggest contrasts. And so getting that assessment from me, it means a lot, actually.
Yeah, when we played against Apex, was it Tuesday? We probably went 5-0. They went 5-0 against us, but a lot of those games are really close, and that's just what happens, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes the scoreline doesn't exactly line up with exactly how close or far teams are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Aggressor, that was well played, sir. You got top points, I think, that time. At least damn
fantasy points.
Oh yeah.
Finally, you got more fantasy points than Ledev, right?
You're catching up.
Almost. Oh, yeah, man. Well, thanks for coming on this. We'll see you on the battlefield next time.
Thank you. I'll see you too.
All right. Peace out. Okay.
I like it.
I like it.
I like the confidence.
Yeah.
The biggest thing. Like the confidence, no, it's not going to get under my skin. We'll just move on, keep going with it. It's a good, it's kind of dangerous, but also at the same time a good mentality to have. Can backfire, but as long as you do it well, and you don't let anything get under your skin, and truly don't let it get under your skin, it's not just an appearance, then it can be something very powerful to have in your back pocket.
Absolutely.